We are back for another episode of Honest
Yes, indeed.
Exchanges. We
Yes,
back,
indeed.
we back. What's up,
Yeah,
Josh? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about
You
yourself?
good? I'm good.
Good,
I'm
good, good.
good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
Always good commentary. Always some laughs, some jokes in there.
indeed.
And then we get a little serious. So, you always ask me, well, what we talking about today? So in my Josh voice, what we talk about today? Because
Yeah.
it seemed like you got some things you need to get off your chest.
I absolutely do.
Okay.
And so today I want to talk about distractions.
Mm.
I want to talk about distractions. And so we've watched a lot of things take place.
Mm-hmm.
Uh we watched, the president get kidnapped. We've watched ICE,
Yes, yes.
but even bringing it closer home to faith-based community.
Mm-hmm.
We watched controversy over a dress.
Mm-hmm.
So we went from the dress to Drewski.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, as I reflect on these things, all I'm seeing is distractions. Distractions. Things that take us off focus.
Mm-hmm.
Things that move us from what we should be putting our attention and our thoughts and our progress and our energy to.
Mm-hmm.
We're caught up in distractions.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I think we got to have the conversation,
Yeah. Yeah.
about distractions, and larger distractions don't minimize smaller distractions.
Mm.
So, distractions that happen further from home, that's one thing. But then we also deal with smaller distractions that hit closer to home.
Right.
You
In our
know,
day to day.
worrying about this, absolutely, our
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day distractions. And
Yeah.
so I think that's a
That's
a good place
Yeah.
to go today.
Okay, so when you say distractions, distracted from what?
Purpose,
Mm.
assignment, completing tasks,
Mm-hmm.
showing up, uh, being present for loved ones, spending so much time engulfed in business that does not affect you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What they say, mind the business that pays you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you worried
Yeah.
about business
Yeah.
that you don't get a dollar off of.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and ultimately, these distractions sometimes I feel like are ploys and setups
Mm.
to stretch other people's reach
Yep.
and limelight. And we don't get it because we just like
Mm-hmm.
being distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's also an excuse for why I didn't do what I was supposed to do.
Right. And it's a form of entertainment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a lot, like you said, I mean, there's a lot going on different levels. Some is legitimate, like you mentioned, the ICE situation, even the political stuff, like that's really happening.
Yeah.
Not to say that things can't be happening as a form of distraction, but there are people being really affected by that. You know what I mean? So then when you go over into more faith-based situations like the dress or the mega pastor, mega church, that pastor and that situation with Drewski, is like that's different because again, that's more in a faith-based community.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely agree that it could be a form of distraction, even though, and I didn't know where you wanted to start, but I felt like with that skit, I felt like that was interesting because I didn't think it was disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was a way of showing how some of these pastors are coming across, where it's about name brand, labels, money. It's about saying some crazy stuff and doing some crazy stuff in church. You know what I mean? So, of course, I think that like we are going to look at, if we're going to like talk about something like that, right? It's not going to be purely like entertainment, like
Right.
just gossip or whatever. It's going to be more so like, what points is he making? that are valid, that
Mhm.
should open up some eyes to say, is this how we coming across?
Yeah.
Versus some people who I guess would just want to talk about the actual like logistics or details of that skit.
Yeah. So I absolutely agree with you. Um, what are the things that we take away from it?
Right.
And so for me, one of the things that we take away is that we can't get upset when people use us as a joke if we're constantly giving them ammunition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if we're showing up in labels,
Right.
um, and never did I think the day would come where the pulpit would be a space where people will become label whores.
Mm.
Because in reality,
Mm.
when we look in the Bible, they wore linen ephods and garments that took the distraction off of
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
so that people could receive the message.
Right.
And so if your Burberry, your Gucci, you know, is the first thing I see
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's speaking louder
Yeah, very
than your
loudly.
content,
Right.
then come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Distractions.
it distractions. And so that, that's a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we try to just say, oh, that's just them trying to make fun of the church. No,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
the church doesn't realize that it's distracted because what is now normal really should be abnormal.
Mm.
And
Wow.
so if, and I'm let me say, I'm a sucker for a good outfit, a
Yes, you.
good
Yes, you
pair of
are. Yeah,
shoes, you
absolutely.
know what
Good
I
suit.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I have nothing, against looking nice, looking
Right.
presentable. I
Right.
say it all the time. Bless has a look,
Mm-hmm.
and so I have no problem, no issue with that. But when what I have on is distracting you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and if you're not careful, it can be distracting in more than one way,
Mm-hmm.
depending upon the person,
Yeah.
because everybody's struggle is different.
So true.
You know what I mean? And so if it's distracting me from hearing the message because I'm just like, I'm struggling to pay my bills, but you standing up there preaching and
Yeah.
Christian
Yeah.
Dior, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, is this where the offering going? You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or in distraction in another way, if I'm sitting there looking like, man, you wearing that dress, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
now it's
Yes.
a lust thing.
Yep.
So it,
Yep.
distractions,
Mm-hmm. Distractions. Yeah.
they're not just limited to um us. They're not just limited to what the work we don't do. They're also limited to what we miss out on
Mm-hmm.
from in our hearing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. And I think if we're not careful, the situations or these instances that are coming up,
mhm,
whether it be about a dress on a woman or even a pastor wearing all like high end labels,
mm,
like I think if we're not careful, again, we'll get into like the lower level of it to just again, it's like a gossip
mhm,
conversation
yeah,
versus like let's look at why this is so controversial.
mhm,
Is there some truth in what's going on? And if there is truth, how do we have this conversation? How do we have this honest exchange
yeah,
about how damaging it could be?
yeah.
Because again, when I saw the skit, it's funny because I was going to send it to you. That was like my first thought of sending it to you, and I'm like, let me not. Because I would rather talk to you
Right,
about it. You
right,
know what
right.
I mean? Because of course I knew you would have thoughts, and I wanted to hear them in real time, for the first time. So because even you being a pastor, and we talked about this also, like you said, where there's a difference from looking nice
Mm-hmm.
and lusting for money,
Yeah,
lusting for the way somebody looks at you.
yeah.
Because we know people who aren't pastors that everything got to be name brand down
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like if I'm wearing this or if I'm driving this, I mean, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Like, just people who feel like if they acquire things, it will make people feel differently about them or look at them a certain way. So I think there's a difference between wanting to look nice and showing people, especially if you are a pastor, showing your congregation like the Lord wants us to be well taken care of. He wants to take care of us well. You know,
Yeah.
we're not like struggle isn't a part of the situation.
Right.
If God called, I mean, and God calls people differently. You know what I mean? So I think this conversation about distractions is so complex, but
Yeah,
I
it
think it's
is.
good because like you said, when you are operating a purpose or even trying to figure out what your purpose is, it's easy to be distracted. Or it's easy, if we're talking about Christianity, right? It's easy to now be turned off
Yeah.
because of what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Or you feel like that don't look right. They don't sound right. Like, what is he talking about? Why is she wearing it? Like, so I just think again, like we have to go to the root of what's most important and make sure we're having like the high level conversations and not the lower level conversations.
Yes.
Just because it's the thing to talk about nowadays, you know?
Absolutely. And I think it's very easy, to your point, to get caught up in low level conversations because we're not looking at the bigger pictures.
Right.
So to your point, it's a complexity. So there's layers.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at this, we look at the dress, you know, we see expensive, we see flesh tone, but we also see when I'm not at church, I like to wear what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ain't like, you know, she was going to a church conference,
Right.
you know, she was going to a UNCF banquet.
Mm.
We seen nothing. Literally. We seen nothing. So in reality, if it was a secular artist wearing it, if this was the Grammys, if this was any other show where people of influence get dressed up, if it was an event that we were going to,
Yeah. Right.
you know what I mean? Like I can imagine that there are, you know, people who attend church when they get dressed up to go to those type of formal black tie
Mm-hmm.
events,
Mm-hmm.
shoulders is out, and
Yeah.
things like that. So, you know, who cares?
Mm.
Who cares? It does what I wear define who I am? And that is a question that has to be raised. Um, because who if what I wear defines who I am, then that means that it also limits my reach.
Mm-hmm.
Because if what I wear defines who I am, then that means that what I wear speaks to only a certain audience.
Right.
And so I think that's one of the reasons why versatility is important. So I will show up to church one Sunday. When I come, I'm gonna have a sweatsuit on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, depending upon how I might feel, that sweatsuit might stay home for the rest of the service. But I might change into something else. I
Mm-hmm.
might put a robe on. I might put a suit on.
Yeah.
I might just put a shirt and some slacks on because I like being diverse.
Right.
It appeals to
Right.
different generations.
Yeah,
It appeals
absolutely.
to different, you know, individuals who come to church. They feel more. Older people may feel more connected when I wear a robe. Younger people may
Mm.
feel more connected when I'm just chill. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It lets me know. I was teaching a workshop Saturday, and someone came up to me afterwards and said, "You were presenting on leadership, but you were presenting in such transparency that that I know you a pastor, but I just seen another human being up there speaking."
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We got to be so careful that we
Yeah.
don't present ourselves in such a way that our humanity is lost.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I'm still a human being. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
don't let my title, don't let what I have on deter you from thinking
Yeah.
I'm not human. I don't have feelings,
Right.
emotions, and all those things like that. And when we see certain things take place, because of what somebody wore or something that they did, now they become targets.
Mm-hmm.
And the question, I want to ask you about this whole distraction thing is, do we ever think about how a person feels when they become the spotlight of attention that they were not asking for?
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying we talk. Sometimes it can be a ploy to
Yeah.
get followers and viewers and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
But what happens when you're not asking for attention? What
Mm-hmm.
happens when you, as an individual, you wear something and it warrants attention that you
Didn't
weren't
even
looking
plan
for?
on happening. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think we live in a world of double standards
Mm,
because if um the lady that wore that dress was not a pastor's wife, this wouldn't be a conversation.
right.
Because between what we see on social media, back in the day when music videos were a thing, how women were dressing in,
Mhm.
even what we see from day to day, clearly there is nothing left to the imagination anymore.
Mhm.
Not saying all women dress like that,
Right.
but we know that it's acceptable now.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't have to be as covered up. So that's a double standard
Mm.
because she wore a dress that I'm sure you saw on Love and Hip Hop or Basketball Wives on one of them
Mhm.
shows,
Yeah.
or maybe worse, maybe more was exposed what you saw, but because she was the pastor's wife,
Yes.
it was this big conversation. So we live in a world of double standards, and I feel like double standards are, I don't think they're good, but we can't deny that that's the world we live in.
Sure.
So me personally, if I'm a pastor's wife, I know, regardless of if I'm at a Christian event or not, I know I'm still a pastor's wife. So I think me personally, I would be more mindful of what I put on because people are going to want to always have something to say.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a healthy balance between me dressing how I want to dress
Yeah.
and not always catering to the crowd. But I think I would not want to be a distraction. If my husband is a pastor, I don't want the conversation to not be about what he said during his sermon. I don't want it to be on me. I want it to be on what we are actively trying to do, which is bring people into the kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So if I feel like this dress may be a distraction, I'm just not going to wear it. So I think that we can't always do what we want to do. And I think, of course, that's a part of our call as Christians that we have to take up our cross daily. And it may be sometimes where I want to wear this. I don't think it's too revealing. I know I have a shape, so it really don't matter what I'm aware. Somebody gonna see my shape. I'm not trying to hide it, but I do have to be careful to, say I might want to wear this, but I know I'm gonna be at this public event. It's gonna be a lot of photographers, a lot of media there. Maybe this would be something that I could wear more low key if it's just like a ladies' night and we choose to do something kind of that's not as like it doesn't give me the spotlight as much. So I think it is important to consider the person's feelings, but I also think when you are in a certain position, especially with the world we live in, where everything goes viral in seconds, you just got to move a little different.
I totally agree. It is definitely a double standard. I believe that's one of the reasons why, for me, I don't want spotlight
Mm. Yeah.
because I want to be able to be me. I want the comfortability to be able to be somewhere and I got a funny t-shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't sitting here like trying to hide with my shirt because somebody, feels a way about what I think is funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like to whom much is given, much is required.
Exactly.
I totally get that.
Right.
But I also think that we lose sight of just being able to function in certain spaces, which is why I can kind of understand why those who are influential hang with those who are influential, because people who are on your level can understand
Mm-hmm.
where you are.
What you do with.
So, when you see the influential people you might see on social media, or they hanging together, they having dinner together and stuff like that. And it's like, I wonder what it's like for them to have dinner with people who are not on the status that they are, but you don't see pictures of that because in reality, this may be their circle because
Mm-hmm.
in this circle, I could show up like this
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
judgment,
Yeah.
without being condemned, and that's grace.
Mm-hmm.
And I say it all the time. Those who need grace should extend grace.
Yeah.
Like I've heard that before. Like no matter what I wear, because of my shape, it's going to stand out,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And again, to your point about the double standard, it happens more for
For
women,
women, for
you know
sure.
what I
Yeah.
mean, than men. So it's like if you wear the fitted dress is a problem. If you wear the muumuu, it's a problem. It's like
Not the moo
where am I safe
Yeah,
at? You know
right.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and I had a conversation with my friends one time just talking about that. Like, we have to be so mindful and careful of that we don't make women feel like they are when they show up, they're not overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I wonder if somebody, I wonder what
Yeah.
somebody,
Yeah.
what somebody gonna say. I wonder what they thinking about what I got on. Like when I show up, I show up. I'm not concerned about what nobody think, and that is ultimately where I feel like you come to a place where you don't live within distractions.
Hmm. Elaborate, please.
So getting me to the place where distractions happen, but that doesn't mean that they have to hinder me,
Mm-hmm.
halt me, or arrest me.
Mm.
So I'm on social media. I heard about the dress. I heard about Drewski, and I still kept doing what I was supposed to be
Right.
doing.
Right.
And I was conscientious not to give attention to it in conversation. Like, so when I go to the barbershop, I'm not getting ready to say, oh man, did y'all see that dress?
Yeah.
Oh man, did y'all see it? Y'all see Drewski? Y'all see when he put his feet up? I mean, like, who cares?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That ain't the first pair of red bottoms I see.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
how is that? And this is, I've seen a pastor post about this. We jump from distraction to distraction, but ignore the things we really should be talking about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what happens when ICE comes to your community? When they knock on your door, at your house, at your worship place?
Mm-hmm.
What happens? What protocol safety measures do you have in place?
Right.
Like, how many places and people are having that kind of conversation? Because that's the conversation I'm having.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do we manage what we can't shut down? How do we respond to, benefits, Medicaid, and things like that are being cut for so many Americans?
Yeah,
like,
so many people.
how do we respond to that? How do we respond to the fact that people are trying to live where they get a little increase, but insurance premiums go up, the cost of food has gone up, and so should I really be worried about this when I have enough in front of me,
right,
to be working on and trying to find resolve with, as opposed to, did you see what such and such wore today?
But I think that's the whole point. I think when you could focus on something that's not literally devastating your life, you don't want to focus on that.
So it's an escape.
Yeah. I think distractions can serve as a escape for sure. I don't want to deal with the fact that I don't know how I'm going to afford my health insurance or if I'll even be able to have it at all. And then it's cold and flu season. What if something happen? I need to go to the hospital. Who's picking up that bill? because yeah, I did maybe get a little increase, but everything else is going up. Groceries going up. Gas is okay right now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's all
yeah.
right.
We good.
But for now, what's going on
Delaware,
there?
Jersey.
Venezuela? I'm confused. But so maybe this is a welcome distraction for me.
Mm,
Because then I don't gotta talk about the heavy stuff. I don't have to talk about the stuff that literally pains me.
mm,
I could talk about something that's more silly, more funny, more lighthearted,
mm.
or just plain not my business. So I could just comment as much as I want and it's fine. Because if we start talking about my business, I might have a panic attack
Mm.
because I'm overwhelmed and I'm scared.
Yeah. Sure.
So I think that us even having this conversation, what would you say to that person who feels like social media is a form of their entertainment, but also is a form of their escape? Like, do you have any thoughts on how you would try to like help that person?
So, um, recently we had a no cap conversation,
Mm-hmm.
um, with the Rooted and Relevant ministry
Mm-hmm.
of one of the best churches I know, St. Paul Chapel Baptist Church.
Amen.
And we were talking about relationships, and someone said, what advice would you give? And they said, run.
Wow.
This is older
Yeah.
person who said it. But the takeaway was that you have two options. And when the person said it, they didn't even realize it. Somebody else realized the other side of run. So run, avoid it,
Mm-hmm.
but also spell out run. Are you in?
Wow.
And so that can become your choice. Either you're going to avoid it
Yeah.
and get caught up in distractions, but how long can you keep laughing before reality says, I'm still here?
Yep. Yep.
Or are you going to take run? Are you in? I'm going to laugh for a minute,
Yeah.
but I'm in this thing. So I'm going to see resolve. I'm going to get to the conclusion. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm going to wrestle with this until I get what I need out of it.
Yeah.
And so that's, for me, that's what becomes the choice. Which side of run are you going to be on?
Yeah.
The escape or the are you in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that is, distractions are going to come in life.
Right.
But it's how you handle the distractions. I said it myself, birthdays come often. But birthdays don't mean that I don't still have an assignment.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to stop doing my assignment so we can go to the Cheesecake Factory. We can go to Cheesecake Factory all the time. We can travel when we want to. You know what I'm saying? Like we live in a space now where we're not limited to, oh, you just have to celebrate on your birthday. It snowed on my birthday.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so how much really could I do?
Right.
But being in a space where I can still do my assignment, but I still can celebrate when I want to.
Absolutely.
I got 365 days to celebrate life. So in my celebration, I shouldn't ignore my assignment.
Right.
But when you get caught up in distractions, even if they cause a little anxiety, come on, let's get some water, get some air.
Yeah.
And let's work through this moment.
Yeah.
Because life is not meant to be lived in anxiousness.
So true.
Paul said, be anxious for nothing, but everything through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, and let your requests be known unto God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and mind through Christ Jesus. So life is not meant to be lived in anxiety.
It's not. It's really not. And I really love having these conversations because we can really shed light from a very personal point of view
Hmm.
of what happens when you genuinely start developing your own relationship with Jesus Christ.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Because I've had this thought a few weeks ago where I was like, Lord, sometimes I feel like I'm living a double life.
Mm.
Like, I know I'm in this world. I know I'm in Philadelphia. I'm in the United States where we got this president. Terrible things are happening. It's just crazy stuff every day. But I live in this other world where I'm genuinely not affected.
Hmm.
And I had to really ask myself, like, am I numb? You know, because,
Right.
you know, when you are used to being anxious,
Yeah.
because that's what the human body does
Yeah.
when it feels a potential threat
Hmm.
of, like, it reacts now. And
Yes.
anxiety is one of those things. Being very nervous and on edge is one of those protective mechanisms our body has. But so when you're used to being on that side of things, and then you start developing a relationship with the Lord where it's like, I know all of this is happening, but I'm not phased. Like, it make you feel crazy sometimes. Like, I think I should be I
Let me
think I
see
should be
somebody.
worried about this. Yeah, like, I think that this is major, you know?
Yeah.
This is like a big deal. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, God got
Mm.
it.
Yes.
God got it. And
Yes.
it's so, and I think when you get to that point, because at the end of the day, there is no possible way you could live your life without a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Period. There's
Yeah.
no way you can stay sane. There's no way you can be at peace,
Hmm.
even with all of the terrible things going on around you. And yes, we talked about political stuff, but we could also talk about personal stuff,
Yes.
health challenges, mental
Yeah.
health issues, dependence on alcohol or drugs or people. Like, there's no way you can be okay in these various situations without your anchor.
Yeah.
And your anchor can't be yourself
No.
because we too up and down our emotions and our feelings. So who you gonna cling to?
Mm.
I don't cling to a president. I don't cling to a mayor. I
Yeah.
can't even cling to my parents at this point in time,
Mhm.
or family members, because we never know.
Yeah.
So it's like, who is there that's never going to change and tells me in his word, just bring everything to me and be cool.
That's
So
it.
it makes sense as to why I could keep going, even with these distractions. Again, I'm looking at it like, okay, what can we learn? Not as a place of like, oh, let's discuss this gossip, let's laugh, let's joke, let's avoid, let's escape. So I just think to our conversation, like, if you don't choose to align yourself with a faith that's going to carry you through all of this up and down, around and around, you're going to be all over the place. And
Absolutely.
you're going to lose time and energy and peace constantly going with what's happening today and tomorrow and next week. Like, it's something every day.
Yeah.
So it's like, even with the distractions, like, you have to have it made up in your mind, like, I'm on a mission. I have everything I need. And not even that I tangibly have everything I need. I have who I need
Yeah.
to do what I'm being called to do. It's not going to be easy, but I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And again, it takes some time. It takes relationship. It takes solitude, like we discussed before, to get to this place. But it also takes boundaries for you to say, all right, you know what? I know that it's always something going on my phone. I'm always scrolling for hours. I'm giving it a good 20 minutes and I'm putting my phone down and I'm getting back to my goals.
Absolutely.
What do I need to do right now? Do I need to journal? Do I need to talk to somebody, whether it's a friend, whether it's a therapist, wellness coach, you know?
I know
Who do
that's
I
right.
need to
Plug it.
wellness coach, the Health and Wellness Company, Coach Ty. What do I need to do
Yeah.
to put myself in a place where I'm okay?
Yeah.
You know, do I need to go to church more?
Mm.
Do I need to listen to Honest Exchanges? You know, and get some of this commentary, and maybe reach out to Ty and Josh on social
Mhm.
media
Yes.
and say, hey, like, y'all talked about this. Can y'all elaborate? What did
Yeah.
y'all mean by that? Or how did y'all get over this issue? You know, you just gotta make a decision. Like, do I want to live like this? Do I want to waste time and energy and my peace because I'm like easily distracted? Because it's always going to be distractions.
Yeah.
We can't get away from
Not
distraction.
at all.
As long as we're living, it's going to be something that's going to shift our focus, but we got to shift right back.
Yeah. Yeah. You hit it on the nose. Seek first the kingdom of God. and all its righteousness, and everything else will be added.
Yep.
If you're seeking in the right direction, you don't have to worry about anything else. And so limiting that scroll time, that screen time, because that's where a lot of distractions come from.
Oh, absolutely.
As you start comparing yourself to other people, you're trying to live like the Joneses, you're trying to live like that, or you see your friends, they in Dubai, they here, they there, and all that stuff like that. And you like, you only been to Atlantic City, like, you can't live your life, based upon the scrolling.
Right.
Because it will put you in a place where you become distracted.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, even though you may see them traveling here and traveling there, when they're not traveling, are they fulfilling purpose?
Right.
Are they developing careers? Are they working in their assignment? Like, because that's the other part about it. Don't allow yourself to become jealous of the relaxation and the fun, but you don't get jealous over the work that they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, they know what they've been created to do, and they're actually fulfilling it. And so that means that you have to do some seeking. So after you seek first the kingdom of God, Ty said it best. Seek tithe for wellness.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, listen to things that are going to build you up and make you wrestle, and not things that are going to make you conform to old habits and becoming who you think you're supposed to be for people. Because you can easily become who people want you to be and ignore who God called you to be.
Right.
And realize that distractions are not just what happens on social media. It's not what happens on YouTube or things like that. Distractions are the things that keep us from fulfilling purpose. Relationships can be distractions. And then that's a whole nother layer to it, you know what I mean?
Right.
But trying to be like your parent. My dad was strong, my mom was strong, and I just want to be like they were. Yeah, but what were some of the struggles, some of the addictions that they wrestled with to show up in the way that they showed up? So instead of you trying to live your own life, you're trying to duplicate another life. Distractions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wasteless conversations.
Small talk.
That you leave frustrated and depleted.
Yeah.
Distractions.
Yeah.
Giving ear to people who never want to do better.
Yeah. Distractions.
Wanting for people what they don't want for themselves. Distractions. And the list can go on and on and on. And so ultimately, I don't know that we were trying to give solutions, but I do think that we offered some contemplation.
Absolutely.
About managing distractions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I absolutely believe that. And it's amazing how you can see so much more into certain instances than the minute things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the things that makes Honest Exchanges so special, is because I think what we talk about and what we're encouraging others to do is what we actively do. You know what I mean? We're not just trying to sell a dream that we don't know nothing about. You know what I mean? Like, just because it sounds good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you and I both have been in periods of distraction, or attempts are being made currently to be or get distracted.
Yeah.
But because we are so focused on our purpose and doing what God intended for us to do, it's just like I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what happens again when you not only have your own relationship with the Lord, but also be uh in environments with people that this is how they think and this is how they operate. Going back to your point of like kind of like similar circles, you know what I mean? Making sure that like you surrounding yourself with people who can have these high level conversations.
Mm.
Because I think at this point, this time we live in, playtime is over. Like I just
Yeah.
think like it is too much happening in the world to not get clear on who you are
Mm.
and who you were made and designed to be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you don't get clear on it, you're going to be very uncomfortable and very restless and very drained of all these worldly things that's vying for your attention when there's so much more that's going to come when you choose to live in your purpose, and you need as much energy and clarity as possible.
Yeah.
You don't got nothing to waste when you're doing what God is calling you to do. You
Yeah.
just don't, because
Yeah.
it's exhausting.
Yeah.
He gives us the strength and the grace for it,
Yeah.
but it's so much involved with the process. You know what I mean? So I just hope anybody who's listening or watching, like, really can take something away from this. Like, don't get distracted. I know it's going to be distractions, but just say, I can't. Even if somebody want to call you up and or text about this situation, I don't have the time.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like, there's so many things that I'm dealing with right now and I'm trying to work through. So I need to have high level conversations. You know, they could borrow that low
Yeah.
level versus high
High
level,
level.
you know,
Yeah.
because we need high level quality conversations. We need high level purpose. We need high level people. I mean, we just need it to be high level, especially as Black people. Like, we got to just bring ourselves up and do things and surround ourselves with people who can encourage us to be our best selves so that we can set examples, we could change communities, we can just have a strength, you know what I'm saying, and not be depleted all the time.
Well, thanks for entertaining. You know what was on my mind.
Did it relieve some
Absolutely.
thoughts of yours?
Absolutely. I
Good.
think this is the first time I actually had a full conversation about it.
Yeah,
And so it definitely was a help.
good. I hope so.
Yeah.
Because I could tell it was, I ain't gonna say you were stressed out, but you were just like, yeah, we gotta talk about this. I
Yeah.
said, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great
Yeah.
because I mean, we used two situations. By the time we aired this episode, those things might have settled a little bit,
Yeah.
but then there's going to be some new distractions
Absolutely.
coming up. So
Absolutely.
even though we use those specific examples, it's still just a very overall conversation about distractions. So
Absolutely.
I thought it was good.
Really good.
Appreciate your time.
Likewise.
Always, always.
Well,
Yeah, so we catch y'all next time. Honest Exchanges. Please continue to let us know what y'all think. Comments, DMs on social media.
yes.
Yeah.
Share, subscribe,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
tell somebody
Yes.
about these honest exchanges that are happening. You don't want to miss out.
Absolutely.